You ever feel like God picked the wrong person? Like he dropped a big promise over your life? But when you look in the mirror, all you see is no way. Maybe he called you a leader, but you still feel like the kid who got picked last. Maybe he whispered healed, but your body still aches. Maybe he said father of many, and you're standing in an empty room. What do you do when God says you will, but every part of your reality screams you can't? There's this moment in the life of Abraham that I can't shake. God gives him this wild promise. Look up at the sky and count the stars. If indeed you can count them, so shall your offspring be. That sounds beautiful in a Sunday school story. But in real life, Abraham is old. His wife Sarah is barren. The clock has run out. The biology doesn't add up. Everything about this situation is shouting, "Nice thought, God," but we both know that's not happening. And here's what I love. God doesn't yell at Abraham for feeling the weight of that impossibility. He doesn't say, "How dare you doubt me?" Instead, he takes him outside. He literally shifts his view. "Come here, Abraham. Step out of the tent. Look up. Count the stars. Go ahead, try." God gives him a physical picture of a promise that still looks impossible. I think about that scene when my own life feels like a contradiction. When God says, "I've called you," but my resume is thin. My bank account is low, and my confidence is even lower. When God says, "You're forgiven," but my mind keeps replaying the highlight reel of my failures. When God says, "I'm working all things together for your good," but all I see is wreckage, detours, and delays. Maybe you've been there. You've got a word from God, a promise, a dream He breathed into you. But then life happens. The diagnosis, the divorce papers, the job loss, the closed door, the "we went with another candidate," the "I'm just not feeling this relationship anymore." Suddenly, the space between what God said and what you're living through feels like a canyon. And in that canyon, the enemy loves to whisper, "See, you made it up. God changed his mind. You missed your chance. You're not spiritual enough. You ruined it with that mistake." We start to question not just the promise, but the promiser. Maybe God doesn't actually have a good plan for me. Maybe that one verse was for somebody else. Maybe I heard wrong. Maybe I'm just too much work. And if we're honest, sometimes we don't even quit on God out loud. We just quietly move him into the background and start living like the promise was a nice idea, but not reality. But here's the thing about Abraham's story that messes with our neat religious definitions of faith. Faith wasn't Abraham pretending he wasn't old. Faith wasn't Abraham pretending Sarah wasn't barren. Faith wasn't him saying, "It's fine, I never struggle." Faith was this. He chose to trust the character of the one who promised, even when the promise itself made no sense. He didn't deny the facts. He just refused to let the facts be the final authority. That's what real-world faith looks like. It's not the absence of doubt. It's not the absence of fear. It's the decision, sometimes shaky, sometimes whispered, to say, "God, I don't get how. I don't see when. I don't even feel worthy of this. But I know your character. You don't lie. You don't tease. You don't make covenant and then walk away. So I'm choosing to trust you, even when I don't understand your timeline." God gave Abraham stars to look at when the promise felt impossible. What does He give you? Maybe your stars are verses you've underlined, tear-stained pages in a Bible that's seen some storms. Maybe your stars are people, the friend who keeps texting you encouragement, the pastor who spoke a word that hit deeper than they realized, the stranger who confirmed something they didn't even know you were praying about. Maybe your star is as simple as the fact that you're still here. After everything you've walked through, you're still breathing. You're still listening. You're still hoping, even if that hope is just a flicker. And maybe, just maybe, the fact that your faith hasn't completely died is proof that God hasn't walked away. I've had moments where the promise of God over my life felt like a cruel joke, where the word was purpose, but the reality looked like failure and closed doors, where the word was healing, but the reality looked like anxiety and sleepless nights, where the word was family, but the reality looked like distance and silence. And in those moments, I've had to learn something the hard way. God is not intimidated by my questions. He's not scared of my, God, this doesn't match. This hurts. This feels unfair. He invites me, like Abraham, to step outside the tent of my limited vision and look up again. To remember the God who made the stars, the God who holds galaxies together, has not lost the thread of my story. So if you're watching this and you feel torn, you believe God spoke something over your life, but everything in you wants to downgrade that promise to something safer, something more realistic, I want to tell you gently but clearly, don't let your present reality talk you out of a promise that was born in the heart of God. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to stuff your emotions. You don't have to slap a smile on and call it faith. You can bring your doubt, your confusion, your pain, and still say, God, I choose to trust you more than I trust what I see. That's what Abraham did, and God called that righteousness. Not perfection, not a flawless track record. Trust. So let me ask you, where does your reality disagree with what God has spoken over you? Where is your life shouting you can't, while God is still whispering you will? And what's one star in your life, one small reminder of a bigger hope that helps you hold on when everything in you wants to let go? Drop it in the comments or write it down somewhere you'll see it this week. Because sometimes the promise feels far away, but the promiser is closer than your next breath.